It's something that we gotta stop allowing the powers that be uh, to use us as tools to do their dirty work, because basically that's what they're trying to do. Joe Rogan, that he's not going to get canceled, but they're trying to use us to do the dirty work because, and I'm gonna say this, I ain't gonna go too deep, but if you can't get white people to cancel him and it doesn't work, they didn't have to use us to try to do it. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with any type of movement they want to push. They need our backing, and so they. And when I say they, I'm talking about Pacific people that's in power think that we're dumb, and they think we don't know no better, and they think, hey, I'm just gonna use them and use the emotional aspect to do it with. So I don't fall for it.
I totally agree, and that's what I said too. I said they use what we know that affects us and get our emotions riled up to push an agenda, and they've always done that. And so for me in this situation, I mean, we can talk about who can say the word, and black folks said, but it's bigger than that. And I do see that there is a particular agenda where no one said a peep from this man after saying it so many times for 12 years. You've tried to cancel him because of the vaccines, but now all of a sudden, now it's a montage. Now all of a sudden, he's just public enemy number one, or just the most nigga white man saying ever. And I'm like, you didn't say anything a peep. And he had millions and millions of views, and no one said anything.
And
But
see how they
now all
put
of
it
a sudden,
together.
but right, it had no context. It was, and of course, if someone's seeing that, a white man saying that, it, oh, we fighting. Those are fighting words. It's always been.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to create kind of dialogue where, yeah, it's a hurtful term. How long we gonna have it hurt us before we see the bigger picture on why it's still being used, why it's still saturated on the YouTube streets, why you still see the Karens, because they're trying to invoke still shit in us. OG Frost, what you got to say? And then Miss Bay, I'll get you as well. And thank you. I'm excited that
Can you hear me?
you're here. Yes,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. That word, it got plenty power to it if you
Okay.
understand the history of it.
Well, I pull it up as far as the origins and where it started. And of course, from the 1800s to the 21st century. So I always do a history lesson on my show. So I did pull it up. So we understand it.
And see how they put it
And
together.
I'll pull it up again.
It had no context.
You have to put me on mute if you
Seeing
can.
that a white man saying that.
OG.
Yeah, but the thing is, though,
That's a fighting word.
when they tried to cancel David Chappelle for saying,
Hold on. I'm going to mute you. Put YouTube, pull it down, lower the volume on the YouTube or mute it for me because I hear it in the back.
Still saturated on the YouTube.
I still hear it.
Still see the Karens because they're trying to invoke still shit in us. OG Frost, what you got to say? And then Miss Bay, I'll get you as well.
Hold up. I got you on mute. I'm trying with them.
oh, okay.
Yeah, turn the volume down on YouTube if you have it playing because I can hear myself. And I hate hearing myself.
As far as the origins and where it started.
Okay.
And of course,
I'm gonna give you a minute to figure that out because I still hear that. Pillow Talk.
Hello, so happy to be here.
I am so excited that you're here, and you look beautiful.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
As well.
What you got for us? Yeah.
Well, hi, Lamar as well. Hi, people in the chat. I agree 1000% with everything you guys just said, and I almost fell for it because I saw India Arie's Instagram. I saw her clip. And I ran and I was ready to go after Joe. I was like, what? Because then you see the clips, you get triggered. And then but I wanted to look for the original clips. And then I'm seeing clips pop up from like 2016, 2018, some old stuff. And I was like, wait a minute. And then I looked into the whole virus thing and what he had said and how they had tried to cancel him. And I was like, man, and it's so strategic that they always hit us during Black History Month. It's like super convenient. So it's like the same game being played over and over again, and we keep falling for the same tricks. And I feel like those are things that are also keeping us from advancing, from moving on to what we really need. Because while we're doing that, we're not handling our business. And
Right.
Lord knows we have so much more that we should be catering to. So, I mean, and we're also like here, I'm in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I know a few years back, we had this like huge debate on the N word because a professor in a university mentioned the title of a book. The N word is part of the title of the book. She read it out loud. One of the students got really mad, filed a complaint. I mean, it's getting to a point where we're not even distinguishing being called something when someone calls you out of your name as an insult and just the actual word, which is a word that actually exists. There's a difference between the two, right? But the
Right.
way that we're being overly emotional with it, we're not taken seriously in the end because it doesn't make any sense. So it defeats the whole purpose of us fighting for something, fighting for respect when we're not approaching the situation with logic.
Right. I agree. And I think, you know, in a time where I've always said our image matters. And it's important that we see and we celebrate strong, beautiful Black men, beautiful, delicate women, you know, that's not just always loud and ghetto. Like, I can turn it on, but I know how to turn it off. So it's important that we showcase that. But then it's also embarrassing where we have one word and then it can just make us feel so weak again because of a particular word. If we relinquish the power, they can't use it against us no more. Then they're gonna have to use something else. But if we understand that it is a tactic, like this whole Joe Rogan thing, it's been used. They always throwing someone said nigga, someone said this. What? So are we saying that nobody can say the word ever? Is that what we're saying? Not even if it's on a book, not even if they're quoting Paul Mooney. No one on this earth besides Black people can say the word nigger or it hurts us.
It's ridiculous. And meanwhile, like someone said before, I think it was Canadian-born Nigerian, was saying like in the music, I don't want to quote, I don't know who said it, but in the music industry, it's being overused. So how are you going to overuse it and then come up with all these rules and regulations as to who can use it at what time, when, how? Like, it's just ridiculous.
I agree. Let me play this while you guys, and then KJ, I'm going to get you, and then Derek. But let me play this while you guys here.
People specifically, okay, because of the current times. Stop being hypersensitive. Stop letting people bait you into every little conversation. For instance, today you started with, I think that guy was mimicking an ape. That comes from your experiences, right? He could have been mimicking a caveman, but your interpretation was, no, he's mimicking an ape, right?
No. I said, this is what it could be to me, but I'm putting it forth to you. You guys make the decision, right? How do I know? You guys, this is what it looks like to me. You guys make the decision. In fact, I used the word jury. I said, you guys decide. You are the jury. That's what I said.
So then what's the difference when I make a video saying, stop wearing your blackness like a scab and letting people pick it off?
I don't think, I'm not sure.
So she says she's Afro-Latina, and that she was coming under flag. I'm not sure if people remember this. This was a while ago. But she was on Donovan Sharp's page and called him a bitch ass nigga. According to her, he was acting like a bitch ass nigga. So she said it and was under flag for saying it because now she's not Black. And how dare you call a Black man a nigga, but you're not Black? And she made the argument, well, I'm from the Bronx. It's in my culture. This is how I've talked all my life. So now you're saying I can't say something that I grew up with? Like, we call each other that. I remember also, hell, till this day, knowing white guys that grew up in the hood say it to each other. because that's where they grew up with. They were so used to saying it, and it just rolled off like a DMX song. Oh my nigga, you know. So, and and I'm hearing, and I can't say, "Don't you say that word," because I know it was part of their environment, of how they were raised, and they were so. How are we to police it for those in the chat that are upset that she called Donovan Shot a bitch ass nigga, or that I've heard white men calling each other, yeah, nigga, you know, the mixed joint? How can you police it? If you're raised with it, and this is the terminologies that we use, i.e., I use it because I grew up with it. Derek, you got anything for us?
Hey, good evening, y'all. What's going on, everybody?
Good to see you. Welcome.
Hey, am I good? The volume and everything?
You're great.
All right, so it's so many things, so many layers, but I'm gonna kind of shorten it. So I believe definitely Black folks is definitely our responsibility to check people who are non-Black people using the word. For one, just like you said, I grew up around it or using it. But at this point in my life and where I work at and live at, there's no one that I'm around where I'm hearing that, there's no reason for me to be saying that. Because I see it or grew up with it or heard it in music. I don't walk around calling people in and bitches. Like there's no like what woman am I going to be talking to where I call her a B? Or what man am I going to be talking to in the workplace? So a lot of times their excuses, well, you guys say it. Like, who do you assume what type of Black person says it? I don't. There's no reason for me to say it. And definitely, white boy, there's no reason for you to be saying it. It's a poor excuse for them to say something that's insensitive and offensive to people. If something is offensive to Jewish people, I don't say it because it's offensive to Jewish people. If something is offensive to Native Americans, I don't say it. It doesn't matter the reason. If they tell me, hey, you need to stop saying that or doing this, my bad, okay, period. And again, this narrative where they try to, you guys say it, or Black people I know, and I'm around that, we're not around calling each other the N-word. In what form and what are we doing? And even at the time that I was hearing that or doing that, I was in the hood or around those surroundings. I'm not in that anymore, so why would I be using it? I didn't bring my son up calling him a little nigga, whatever. He didn't hear that word from, his mother and I. So that's a bunch of BS, and it's a whack excuse for other people to try to say and validate saying it. Oh, y'all say it. How do you know that we say it? Why do you assume all Black people are the same?
Well, here's the thing. This is where I'm going to get pushed back, because I don't think it's necessarily saying that every Black person says it, but it's a consensus that when a Black person says it to another Black person, they're not going to get canceled. I can say it, nigga, 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 right now, and I don't have to worry about it being a collage and Courtney Michelle said nigga.
Well,
I'm not
because
going to get that.
we know the intent is different. I live here in Virginia. If I'm in a neighborhood area at night, walking with my girlfriend or something through a town, and they call me that, I know that's danger. That's the difference.
Right. But
I know
if
they say, hey, N, get out of here. What y'all doing over there? People that look like us have been lynched over that word. So the intent is 100% what behind the word, the meaning and the difference. You saying it to me, and Billy Bob saying it to me out on a farm at night. I'm walking through a road, and he says, "N, get out of here." There's a historical, and everybody knows this.
Okay.
White people know this.
But we're talking about the word period. Joe Rogan didn't say y'all dumb niggers.
But my point is,
quoting though. So this is what I'm trying to get at, because I understand what you're saying. But again, back to what we're saying, just the word itself, not using it to do ill intent, not using it to be harmful or shaming. Just the idea of a white man just saying the word has people up in arms.
Yeah, because again, the history of it and the arrogance to still use it, even if you're quoting somebody, know it will be hurtful. Why even say it? You know the history of this country. I'm not surprised by it. I mean, it really doesn't bother me. I expect this stuff. He's a middle-aged white man. I'm sure he said "in" before. Like, it don't surprise. The thing that surprises me is that Black people are surprised by this. I'm not surprised at that. This is what they do. You know what I'm saying? It's not surprising. And again, you know, I know we sometimes bring it up or talk about. I'm 43 years old. I've been on this planet enough. I've lived through Rodney King. I've lived through. I mean, this is stuff that was happening to my grandfather. I mean, this is what it is. So for people who always want to say black folks stop being sensitive and whatever and blah 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 and all that stuff, shut the hell up. Like, really, this is a part of this culture and history. It's in the bone marrow of America, and the intent is with malice when a person other than us usually is saying it, and they know that. So if you know that, why even say it? Why even do it? It's stupid.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Can I say
Go
something?
ahead, please. And Joe, KJ, I'm gonna get you.
Okay, I'll keep it short.
Okay.
But I understand and I respect what you're saying, Derek. And to a certain degree, I agree with that. I don't use the word. I wouldn't like to be called the N-word, right? But what happens is we reinforce a narrative that we're not going to be able to back up. And we're saying you can't say you cannot police people. You're never gonna be able to control the entire population and say no one can say it. The repercussions are gonna be what? You're gonna get beat up, then who's gonna get in trouble? It's a word that is triggered. Even in movies, they showed us. They kept repeating those scenes where you would have everybody singing, dancing, and then the white guy would say the N-word because he's just singing along. And then DJ Scratch, everybody turns to him, and then somebody has to do something to him. It's like a triggered reaction that we're expected to have. If somebody says the N-word in front of you and you're black and you don't do something, you don't act out of character, you don't get emotional, you're not defending your race, you're not standing up for yourself. But what good? Like, this has been a loop that's been going on for years and nothing has changed. So maybe in the method that we're trying to reinforce this, the method is not working. It's just for now, the way I see it, is just a word that's being used against us, and we're just reacting emotionally. But there's never a solution. Like, it doesn't get resolved. It's the same fight we've been fighting for years. Yes, more people are aware today, and I respect the people. I'm the kind of person, any person that I would meet, if they tell me it's disrespectful, I want to respect people. So I'm gonna move a certain way and I'm not going to say certain things, but you're never going to be able to guarantee that everybody does that. So for me to be able to remove the triggering aspect of the word, knowing who we are and moving forward, knowing, and just like you said, you're not surprised that he used it. We know people are racist. You can remove the N-word, but you're not going to remove racism. So why are we so attached to that specific word? There's so much more. The history is not just about the words. Our suffering is not only attached to that word. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can I ask them a question?
Yeah.
So I want to be to Darren. I want to be clear about your stance, because in one breath you said about the intent behind the word, but then when Courtney said about the context, you said it doesn't matter. So I'm trying to figure out, which stance do you have?
No, my stance is, especially when it relates to that word, because I've done it in real time, in real life, just simply bad behavior, you check it. If I'm standing next to the Pillow Talk with Sorrel Bay, is that what that is? If I'm standing next to you and a guy is kind of getting too loud with you out of pocket, I'm gonna, hey, bro, or whatever. You check the behavior. If a white boy is standing next to me talking crazy or saying stuff that's out of pocket or off color, hey, and I've said, and I was in the military, and I would say, hey, man, you don't talk like that. Do you understand me? And I check and tighten the ass real quick. I don't put my hands on them or nothing, but it's understood you don't speak like this. If you being too loud or lewd or rude and there's women around, you check the behavior, period. Bad behavior shouldn't not go unchecked. White people know that this is an offensive word. They always want to, and again, their excuse is, well, you guys say it, or we, blah, blah, blah. Yes, don't say it. It's not appropriate.